Magical. What's up, internets? Welcome to Same-ish, Different Day, the podcast with a name that we struggle to say on time. This week, Raza wanted to talk about how to activist properly. Now, this is a complicated conversation,
Is it? For you, yeah.
but we wanted to address, is there a way to do it and not be cringe?
Yeah. Is there a way to not post on your story like somebody does and gets all high and mighty about it? Like somebody does. Not gonna name names, but I'm gonna say
Meaning, can people get involved with movements without feeling like it's a trend or hurting your friends' feelings? An example is the March for Our Lives protests, where people were hopping on that topic without understanding much or any of the context around it. After all, gun control is a debatable topic, and just getting on the hype train can make your support be based more on trends than the actual impact. As well, Raza, there is gatekeeping when it comes to this type of thing,
yeah, Bailey.
because many feel like there's specific ways to be an activist outside of posting a black square on your Instagram or a story about Truth and Reconciliation Day.
Yeah, Bailey.
When you try to engage, talks can devolve to the levels of Twitter debate right quick. People will attack one another based on others not getting involved with the movement or causing the movement itself to lose focus. So, how can we all feel the same way about something when not everybody is as into it? It's all different, it's all confusing, and it's not that we have the answers here. So, Raza, since you presented this complicated issue, how do you feel we can discern whether or not we're diluting the issue as we're hopping on the hype train?
Can I plead the fifth? 'Cause I have no idea. No, I think that was a good joke by me, by the way.
Ha ha
Ha
ha ha! Yeah,
ha
get it? Because I didn't believe it. Because you usually don't know what to say. Because you're dumb.
Look who's talking. Because you're dumb. I mean, there is keeping, absolutely, but like, I think it's like what you take from the protest or the movement,
Yeah.
because uh, it isn't the same to everybody. Like, March to Our Lives could mean something different for us, Canadian. I like hearing myself back, by the way. And I'm the dumb one. I do think that like stuff like this is like sort of like person dependent.
Mhm.
So like there's no one way to do it, um, but there's a way to do it tastefully,
Okay.
and it depends like how to do it. So like how are you in tune with this movement? How much do you know, right? And if you don't want to seem trendy, then at least be consistent about your beliefs, which you and I are good examples of that, because like we post things that we believe in consistently. So we already are sort of you don't have to be well versed on the subject. You just have to know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, we don't have to have a discussion about uh, the,
So the
these
question I
things.
would ask then, right, is you're saying you got to be in tune with the issue.
Hmm.
Something I struggle with a lot is how do you measure like what is in tune enough?
Um, just I guess just like talking to people, just like getting perspectives. Social media is a great tool
Are
for that.
you sure? Because Twitter can be a bit intimidating, you
How I
know?
get all of my news, guys, is through my Twitter feed. Am I not well informed?
Like how
That'll
you
be
as a Twitter expert, if you were to go onto Twitter and say, let's use this one here. Oh, I don't understand what March for Our Lives is about.
yeah.
Do you think people are going to offer you constructive
No,
advice?
some LMFAO and touch grass.
Then let's see what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
no. But like, if you're genuinely asking, there's good people. There's a lot of genuine people on that side. Like, yeah, you're gonna run into the shit characters on there, obviously. But like, a lot of people there, like like the rest of social media, it's all community driven. So as long as as you can like identify the community, I guess you'll be able to um just sort of learn things. Like you're not gonna get the
Yeah.
trolls unless you go into the general conversation. But the moment you start to go inside those communities, you're gonna deal with the people from within those communities.
That's true. Like getting firsthand experience
Yeah,
and
firsthand.
conversing with people
Yeah,
from that world.
yeah.
But that's also a slippery slope, right? Especially when you're trying to offer that advice objectively, because then you're like, yeah, go talk to the people that experienced it, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm going to you and being like, Raza, so tell me all about partition and why
Yeah.
it sucks. But maybe you're looking for your past grandmother, and you don't want to talk about that shit right now. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah, but I mean, you just try the next person, right? There's always going to
You
be
just continue the privilege cycle, or do you? What do you like?
well, not
There's.
really privilege cycle. It's more like just you wanting to know and talking about these things because like it's all about people love to talk about things. People love to talk about their lives, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, so the moment you start to open up, when people start to open up, you can just get like a whole experience, a whole new experience out of it. And I yeah, like I don't know if it's about privilege. I think it's more like people just wanting to genuinely know. I guess if you bring your privilege into it, then it becomes about that. But if you just keep that separate,
I think that's the issue, though. I think a lot of people inherently don't know how to separate that privilege or aren't aware of it.
I mean,
And I'm not on some high and mighty throne either. There's
there. I
situations that
mean,
I'll forget.
if like it's not like something like you're at fault with. Like you're brought into the system that way, right? And then people like treat you, which is ironic because then you have then you lose that privilege. But like if you get treated differently, I mean, you should. Yeah, what the fuck? No, but like it's just white people specifically who want to get a perspective aren't necessarily like yeah you have privilege but you aren't like use your privilege for the sense of education just to be a voice or just to be able to learn and in turn help with that because like as I said like you have privilege but it's how you use it like
See, but
defines
in my way,
or you're just
right?
wrong.
I face that issue because then sometimes I find the issue devolves into the scenario where you have a, say, middle-aged white mom sitting there going like, well, I talked to all my friends who are ex community and they said I can say weird Italian slurs, right?
It's a
As
me
soon as you
Mario.
like add that level of maybe you just need to talk to some people, not only does it kind of accidentally perpetuate that privilege, it's like you could be just further sending someone into someone else's confirmation bias.
J- like what do you mean like
Like you're saying, I'm trying to use a non cancelable example. Let's use your people's grudge against India, right?
sure yeah.
So I'm going like, I don't know anything. I'm
Oh
going
yeah,
to
and you're
Raza.
gonna talk to one side
I
of
go
it.
talk to Raza and I'm
One
like,
side,
yeah, what do you
yeah,
think about this Pakistan India conflict? And
yeah,
you're like, I want to
yeah,
fuck them. They want to nuke us.
yeah.
And then I walk away and the issue is like, oh, India just wants to nuke
I see
Pakistan.
what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you want to get all talking points, right? That's how it is. But it's kind of hard to do when it's like a black and white issue. So the best way, as much as you and I preach, well, all of us preach to this on podcasts, is like you as an internet person with this ocean of information at your fingertips, you have to like use the internet and shit. So like just I think I I think at that point it comes down to common sense. But then again, a lot of people don't have that. That's
Exactly.
what I've noticed. Well, like it's all about a hive mind mentality too. So it's like
And
it's
that's where I get worried that perpetuates it. Because now you're asking both just the person seeking the information and then us as influencers to have to be able to discern which one's right. And as we've been seeing with people liking this steak online, right? That's an example that I many people, if given the power and opportunity, will choose the get rich quick scheme or the attention scheme
yeah.
versus the informing people.
I think you're right because you're just gonna start talking to these people, and they're gonna continue pushing you down their own
Yeah.
sort of like views, which is why how I got my own. When people like Bernie Sanders tells me about how his way of government is the best way, I was like, yes, daddy. And so
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm dumb, right? As Bailey says, right? So like we like people like I assume are smarter than me aren't gonna just uh see. No, I lied.
Yeah.
I
See?
fucking because like if
Because
you
you're,
watch all these videos of these torpedo rallies,
yeah.
it's all it's all like things that you can see the person who's telling them this
Hmm.
because it's word for word.
Like the Jonesy boy, which I probably can't say his name either,
Yeah,
Monsieur Jones.
yeah,
He's sitting there and he's doing that, right? That's someone who's aware of the line and
hmm,
they're observedly going like, "Oh, you're in the middle. Let's
yeah,
take you. This didn't happen. It
yeah.
never
Oh, I'm being
happened."
sued now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, but uh, and also like for on top of that, like people. So being in the media, and you can probably attest to this. I have noticed that a lot of people can what's the word? They can articulate these
Hmm.
complicated points very well. And people like our favorite guy, our
Hmm.
favorite right wing um guy, Benny Boy,
Yeah.
he knows what he's talking about, right? Because he's able to use words, big words, and he's able to eloquently deliver these big words and
Hmm.
quickly. Therefore, he knows what he's talking about, right? Even though when you look at his stuff, it's like that's you're not right about half of these things or majority of these things. But if you're able to articulate yourself in that way, oh my god, the power you have over the millions of people who will just listen to you is insane. So like I'm noticing it on that side of the whole like spectrum of people because it's easier to because people love the shock and awe of it all. But
Hmm.
then rather than listening to someone like say not like Noam Chomsky, right? Nobody wants to listen to him. He's dull, boring, talks about facts, right?
Yeah.
Who cares about those things, right? And he isn't good at articulating his points, right? So nobody wants to pay attention to that. So once we find somebody, or once there's people out there that who are able to talk about their things in a good way, as much as the dumb people are already doing that, I don't I don't think you can get that sort of like intelligent, sort of like.
So then to get extra meta, right? We're entering an era where everybody has a voice and arguably too many people have a voice.
Are you taking a dig at us?
No, 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 because this is the same shit, different day. We're
Yeah,
here to teach you the same stuff, but in
from a
different
leftist
ways.
point of view.
No. But actually, just to have constructive discussions and pique your brain at the complex depth of these issues. But nonetheless, um, because once you get on the scale that everyone has the accessibility to give their opinion now, ultimately, what if we miss our next Jesus? You know what I mean?
That's Kanye West, right?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah,
Kanye West could be Jesus right now, but because of social media, no
yeah,
one believes it.
yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously, because people love to talk shit about that, right? So it's being, and also people love to be skeptics,
Yeah,
right?
but if you didn't have the ability to think I could be a Kanye one day,
Uh-huh.
would you think it's so ridiculous what he's doing?
No.
Exactly, because
Okay.
you're clowning on him because you're like, "Oh, you've got these billions of dollars, bitch, and look at these big ass rain boots you're wearing."
Yeah.
Versus, like in the '60s, you're looking at Marilyn Monroe like she's a literal fucking angel to those weirdos. Or the Queen is a great example of that. They're looking at the Queen as some magical being when She's just some
So,
rich old
are you
lady.
talking about like people in general, or you're just
Like, I
well,
think if
like
we're
looking at
sitting
Kanye
there,
West, like just people, or just like
I think people in general, because if we're sitting there waiting for the right articulate person to come up, I think that can be easily misinterpreted. And now that we have so much space for people to present their ideas, you're not going to be able to catch the right. You're not going to catch the next Noam Chomsky now.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. That seems like I don't know. I think a very pessimistic view of it, though.
We live in a twilight world.
Yeah, we do. Where everything doesn't make any fucking sense. No,
You know?
I don't know. I think I just think me being the like okay, I'll be the opposite.
Okay.
I'll be the opposite. Be like I think people are slowly realizing that we don't need that one person, right?
Okay.
As you said, everybody has a voice, and because of the internet, we don't need to like talk to that. We don't need to listen to that one person, right? We can just use our own sort of like uh, voice at the same time. So I think less that one person argument is gonna be not like
So you don't, because that only I'm questioning that because you said that, so it's like not in the I'm not calling you out way, but like, so if you're trying to discern, am I genuinely involved in this activist topic? Are you looking to refer to like what the thought leader is there, or should I
mm.
go research that?
I mean, the thought leader will always have some sort of bias, right? He will always have some sort of like angle
Yeah,
for it all. So like if you're gonna get research, at least you're getting, multiple different voices there for you. Good, bad, right or wrong, right? It doesn't matter, but you're still getting those multiple different things because we were literally taught in journalism you need at least three sources to confirm your
yeah, exactly.
investigation. So if you're just going to a thought leader, you're just saying, "Oh, I'm only listening to him based on his status, not what actually he says." You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was just gonna confirm that. Yeah, I think you're right. When you tie it into our journalism facts, it's always something that comes back to slap us in the face while we're explaining these things on show, is like understanding the bias in the sources you're presented
Yeah,
and being able to take in information from a variety of
but
sources.
I want to contradict myself, and people are hive minds, and they love fucking not
I know,
thinking
but
for
especially
themselves.
with buzzworthy news nowadays, it's so hard to say hive minds or
Yeah.
sheeple because you're already it inherently commits your beliefs to a certain type of doctrines. You know?
Like people like are supporting the Ukraine thing without actually understanding the context, right? So it's like people want to be a part of something. People want to be a
Yeah.
part of we're social animals ultimately. And that sort of behavior can be exploitative. But you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's also what the media and social media, but the media as a whole of this generation has created a want or drive to be something greater than what human life really is, rather than just they think everyone, I'm destined to be Pusha T, or I can be as creative as Kanye, or
I mean
that's like,
th- I feel like that's a new mindset. That's a very new
and that's, I think it's
mindset.
that's influenced the ability to discern that information as healthily, because I think I can be a superhero. I think I deserve everything versus we're sitting here like, oh, well, yeah, we'll grind it out for a few years rather than like,
Because yeah, because social media makes everything out to be like, oh, it's tangible.
yeah,
Yeah,
now that everything seems tangible,
yeah,
how is it easy to discern the truth? Because I already think I'm tough shit.
yeah. I think that's a good fucking point because it's just like because you have that layer of imagination which doesn't really
Hmm.
help out at all. It just it gives you false hope, and when you have that, it's like I don't I don't know. I don't know how to argue this, but it's like people like to hold on to things, I guess, that like make them more
Yeah.
uh more like I guess human in a way, because they want to be different. Everybody wants to be the next thing. Uh, everybody just wants to be noticed, right?
Mhm.
Um, like us. So it's just
I had the dark needle of conspiracy pierce my brain the other day
oh boy.
because I was thinking of these biases, and it's like, yeah, bro, if imagine if we're actually on the brink of war with Russia or like one of these issues here. Yeah, would you really know about it in the news? It would be like, oh, someone got nuked, and that's what we find out about first. There's not gonna be like,
I 100% think that that would be a thing. 100% because if you haven't noticed, our whole media, our whole news force, it's all about shock and awe.
yeah.
They love this is y- you're saying if ABC or CNN got that news and they didn't report that, you know how much money they would lose if they didn't report that some country would be they don't like
So
we
I meant the shit would pop off quicker than our fear mongering news could catch up with. We're too busy going, will they, won't they? Oh, look at what Putin said. And then all of
I
a
don't
sudden
know.
a bomb is dropped, and you're
I don't
like,
know.
oh, it's Tuesday,
I have no idea.
you know?
I have no because like there's been many times in our history where the news is on time
That
on
was like Pearl Harbor, right? Like a Pearl Harbor
yeah,
was
but
like everyone just thought it was a
I
Tuesday,
mean
and then
Pearl
it's like,
Harbor was
holy
also in
shit.
1945 too. The technology was like very much old school. The
Mm,
world is not as open as it was back then.
That's a good call out.
Yeah. I'm
It's a
just
good
saying.
call out. No, it's a
I'm,
good call out. It's a vital point to that
I'm just saying,
critique.
like in 20 like I do think that uh like you're right. We may not know about it because stuff like that is quick, right? Like guys, I'm gonna tell you like a little inside information on marching into madness. Raza posted a TikTok a week before, or created a TikTok a couple days before there was actually any invasion in Ukraine back in what, May or
Yeah.
April. I was on the assumption he's not going to invade. As soon as I posted it, I said, okay, sick, let's go. It's up on TikTok. 2 hours later, breaking news: Putin has broken into Russia. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to quietly take down that TikTok. So it's like news travels fast, but I think that like um this what you're talking about, yeah, I don't for that like the big I- in the last like 2016 or yeah 2016 there have been threats about World War III,
Yeah.
right? And the world has continued on as normal. The memes came out. We're still shit posting
Yeah,
on
and we're gonna be
online
shit posting either way.
and but because like the inherent value of the threat of World War III has diminished. So when, God forbid, if it actually happens, right? I think like, society won't even notice until like the very last second. Even why would the news blaring at us? Because look, it took like Floridians are having to even moved out of America, like Florida yet, and they're telling them to get out. There's a hurricane hitting them. They're like, "Nah, we're gonna vibe, right?" So I think it's gonna be the very like that mentality, but like on a grander scale, but more or less here in the West, because the Westerners aren't really used to war, right?
So to tie it back to the topic, it's almost like you're getting beat over the head with so many cringy activism things that when the one that matters comes across your scope, you're just like, oh, fuck it, not this time.
I feel like that's how it's going for most people.
I know I'm getting there too, which is sad.
Yeah,
Getting very burnt out.
I'm not.
You're just yelling at people on
Yeah,
Twitter every day. I get it. You
yeah,
keep them tanks filled,
yeah.
ready to go,
That's how you do it. Find a cause worth fighting for, and then
die for it.
and then make it as much as possible about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Find a cause worth fighting for and figure out why it brings value to my life, and then it's all I'll ever talk about with my friends
yeah,
and family.
yeah.
Sounds right.
This is why I don't have any friends when everyone's like, "Oh, stop talking about Palestine." I was like, "We get it. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
we
whatever.
get it,
The
fam.
IDF
Yeah,
sucks.
whatever. Go meet women.
Would I
I mean,
be the asshole if I asked my neighbor to stop smoking in the bathroom?
what do you say it like that?
I,
Okay,
23 female, recently moved into a new apartment
ignored me
where
completely.
I share a wall with one of my next door neighbors. Their apartment is a mirror image of mine, so their bathroom and mine share the same pipes and wall
No
space.
way. Two
Wow.
places look the same. Holy fuck.
Yeah, Roz is so spoiled, he's never seen that. For the most part, they're great
Why do you
neighbors.
come after me?
I've never met them, but they're reasonably quiet. The one thing that drives me nuts, though, is that I suspect they're smoking
I'm
cigarettes in the
sorry. I
bathroom
don't come from a broken home.
when it's cold and or rainy, and the smell
I
seeps
built my
into my
washroom,
bathroom
by the
as
way.
well. I have other neighbors that smoke on their balconies, and for the most part, they don't whine like a little bitch baby like Raza.
I don't
But
whine. I bet
the
you would
smell
though.
in my bathroom gets completely overwhelming when they're mid smoke, and it takes at least a day for it to fade, like my anger for Raza. At which point they smoke again, and it comes right back. I'm a very non confrontational person, like Raza, and I'm nervous
That's
that
not true at
asking them
all.
to confirm their smoking habits and also to stop them. But I'm worried it would be an overstep. I know asking them to smoke on their balcony in the cold and wet is kind of rude, but on the other hand, I've been suffering. I feel like they can suck it up. Would I be the asshole for telling my neighbors to stop smoking on the balcony? I've been suffering. Why didn't they start with this? Why didn't they start with this? That was I skipped that part because it's like I was like, okay, they're just babbling more about how it will be rude to them.
Yeah.
They're being over considerate. So also sorry person who wrote this, but even though you'll never hear this.
But on the other hand, I've been suffering from PTSD due to a fire in my last apartment, and the smell of smoke gets my heart racing pretty bad. Plus, it just stinks, and the balconies are covered. So I feel like they can suck it up for a cig. So TLDR would be rude if I blah blah. So Bailey, since I'm a bitch, go you first.
I
Yeah, you first.
oh my god.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're not the asshole. You're not the asshole. Especially if you have PTSD, then fuck it. You're already it's not. I think it's rude as someone who used to be a heavy smoker. It's
Used to
like
keyword.
I don't trust that shit. I don't trust that shit. It's like if you are
Were you that guy though?
no.
Okay.
I have been when I was in some of my degenerate houses, but always if it disturbs someone or they ask or they say anything, it's like I'm not the fucking punk rock guy who's gonna argue with
See,
you.
I never smoked, so I don't have to deal with these issues.
I used to be a stanky boy sometimes, but
Mm.
I was like, well, because sometimes, man, I was living in apartments, no heating, so it's like I'm gonna have a cigarette inside because I don't even I can't. Why am I gonna go outside when my house is just as cold as outside? Like
I
fuck
mean,
you.
it contains spot. It could stinkier quicker.
But I can stay warmer in my blanket inside.
Doesn't. Okay. You're right. I don't know how it feels to be a smoker.
Woe is me,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, I
It's cool
think
because like whenever I get blem, I just get in a blem in the room, and I don't have to worry about any residual smell because it just goes away, and that's what I ran with all my life. This is what like again, smoking are for smokers are jokers, guy.
yeah, gay,
Yeah.
yeah, gay. But so overall,
First of all,
no.
tell that neighbor to stop smoking. Actually, you know what? Go to his house. Be confrontational. Fuck it, because all smokers are dum dums. You're knowingly telling yourself you want to give yourself cancer. You're knowingly doing that, by the way. All right, all right, and then you also knowingly want to give everybody around you cancer as well, knowingly. Even though they may be children, they may be old person, you're just like, I want to light up a
What's in
fucking
your
dart.
vape juice, bro?
Not is it cancer?
Probably.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not. No, it's
Okay.
not.
How much tar is in cannabis?
Wait, is there actual shit in there? In the is it the
Well, it
tar part?
is. It is. There's stuff in it. There is stuff, bad stuff in it.
What is it?
It's not just oil. It's like
I
other
know it's not.
liquids to make it atomizable, which
I
is the same stuff that they put in the other vaporizers.
I know that, but like, is it on the same level? So you're saying I have the same sort of uh
It could be. You could be inhaling just as bad shit without even knowing it.
Are you saying that because you're a smoker?
I am not saying that because I participate in anything. I am just
Are you
saying that
sure?
because
We
I
just had
think
this
it is.
huge conversation about asking people who have biases, and I feel like
I
you're.
don't think I am biased in this scenario,
Are you
and if
sure?
anything, I think in this scenario I am biased to not the partaking person. I think I am biased towards
Smoking?
the homeowner. No,
Oh, you're talking about this.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to look more into that now because after what we just talked about, I do not trust you, um, one bit. Uh, but no, I'm team homeowner. Thank you for cut, cut, cutting me off. The mysterious. Oh my God. What's what is that? Press it.
Phytol, a chemical that had deadly effects on rats,
You see,
used to cut vaporizer fluids.
I'm cutting out this shit then. I'm done. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm done.
The CDC has narrowed it down to E-volley, vitamin E acetate, a chemical commonly used in skin creams. How do you feel, Raza? How do you feel? How do you feel? Pine rosin, to vape or not to vape?
Yeah, well, what do they say there? Go
What?
down. Yeah, dude. If you're gonna get that shit, at least get it legally too.
Well, you're just saying I
Get that
might not get
get that
it.
stuff. I mean, they're saying there's benefits too to it. I literally just read a paragraph of
Do
benefits.
you guys hear this guy? Do you guys hear this
So
guy?
now I actually have to do my research because he won't let me read that the good side
We're
about
on the show. We're on the show.
it.
You're probably right, though. I'm probably gonna lose. There's probably an overwhelming case that the
No,
standardized shit in
well, because
Canada is cut out. I'm
my
probably
whole
wrong.
thing, my whole argument was like, oh, anything that vapes doesn't have smoke to it, so I assume it's just there's no carcinogen burning. But yeah, I guess obviously because there's fucking, I've seen like I've seen normal things, and that seems to be the
Hmm.
purest form, right?
Hmm.
And there's no chemicals in that. So obviously, a shatter was made right in front of me too. Um, when
Speaking of focusing, what does it mean for different people to participate in
drugs.
activism? Does it mean for different people to participate
We're not
in
done.
activism?
We're going back on this.
Activism. Should we all protest or fight for causes the same way? Or does different forms of expression mean more to a movement rather than participating in the hive mind? Say, does BLM mean something different to not just two people from different races or heritages? Or rather, is it different between two different backgrounds of where you grew up?
Yeah.
As we can still see in the news recently, even this unanimously good cause has its own downfall,
What cause?
like BLM, right? At the same time, people were be calling them out and saying like, "Oh, they're funneling the
Did
money
you know
elsewhere," and all these years later,
founder bought $1 million house? Sorry to
yeah, exactly.
cut you off, but like, he bought a million. So that's like a huge slap in the face. But anyways, so
Yeah, it was a huge slap in the face because at the beginning, all the Jonesy boys, there was this right wingers saying like, "Oh, blah, blah, they're doing this," and it
for
turns out
money.
they were doing it.
Yeah,
So it's like, all right,
if you're gonna do it that way, you're just giving credibility to the other side.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really sad. But back on track. After that sad story, how can we make it more relatable for everyone who is a part of the movement but isn't fully aware of these issues? Say, like Blue Lives Matter as a response to this, like Black Lives Matter. It popped up. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, well, cops matter too. But some of those people maybe don't know how much of like a douchebag thing that is,
Like
right?
all lives matter type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All lives matter type people. They're
Yeah.
just like, well, I have a brother who was a cop,
Yeah.
but they're not really. If you explained it to them, they'd be like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
what do you do about those people? In that case, does that make it more of a mockery or a movement in response?
Mhm.
Right? I.e., the Blue Lives Matter just makes it laughable.
Yeah.
It's a joke of the scenario
Yeah.
rather than creating an impact otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can anyone really understand, or are you just always being empathetic to the values of the movement you're trying to participate in?
Um. So am I starting?
I figured.
Okay. Well, it starts.
Yeah.
um. Okay, so to answer the first question, does BLM mean something? I guess that's a good example. I mean, or should we? Well,
Means something different to different people. You know what I
okay,
mean?
yeah. So you can never really. Okay, so like protests and issues and movements are never going to be this have the same meaning to any one person,
Hmm.
irregardless of like the race or the gender or blah blah or all that. So like I don't think you can really make people like okay, we keep going to the Black Lives Matter because that talks about race, but I don't think like anybody outside of that sort of like race can really truly understand,
Hmm.
but everybody outside of that whole realm can empathize, uh like be allies, help with the movement, grow the movement bigger, uh make it like a big deal, uh and white people can use their privilege to actually push BLM on onto sort of certain like uh
Yeah.
bigger stages. So I just think that um like no one's truly gonna get any of these issues, no matter who you are, right? The only thing you can do is like just listen and try your best to empathize with it, because you should see these people as like humans rather than.
So, but what if you didn't know you were participating in the mockery? You know, what
That's a
if
good
you're
question.
walking in and you're like,
Well,
"Oh, here again,
well,
I'm just
people.
supporting cops
Ch-
because
ch-
my brother's a cop."
chances are, if you're participating in that type of thing, there's a high chance, like I want to say 97% chance that you know what you're doing, um, because BLM or Blue Lives Matter is a really good example too, because I believe it came out as a reaction to
Hmm.
that, right? So the only way you're going to be joining that uh, is to be like as reactionary to for that. Like you don't like people who join that type of stuff don't really have any sort of
I guess.
well, like they don't really necessarily believe in the movement. They're just looking for something that's anti that other side, right?
The
Like,
the one that comes to mind for me directly is like gun rights, right? Like gun control,
yes, sir.
because most of the people supporting gun control, a good 40% of them are just ignorant. They just grew up in Pennsylvania. They like to shoot ducks. They don't understand that
Okay,
all
yeah,
the politics
yeah,
behind it
yeah,
has been a hotbed issue that's been fed full of false facts and da 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 on both sides.
yeah.
How are you gonna make them be like, no, it's really this way though?
So for gun rights, that's like that's okay. So that's a very different. I mean, gun rights, yeah, it's a lot more complicated than um what we're talking about, because like there is no sort of uh movement that started the whole gun rights movement. It was already part of the American
Hmm.
like culture. So for that, it's I believe if it's a part of like American like the who like the identity of American, that's really hard to sort of like tell them. Oh, by the way, everything you've known about America guns is wrong, right? So like that's a very hard topic to have, because like you can't really detach people from. It's like telling me eat is bad, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean, talking about a religious holiday, guns. Um, it's it's cool because I mean it's not cool, but it's different because I feel like yeah, it's more or less a part of that culture, and you can't really tell people that guns are bad. But for this stuff, Blue Lives Matter, which is new, out of it's spinned off out of another thing that's easy to fucking break down, right? Because there's no really history, there's no value there, there's no institutions aren't really built around it. It's built around institutions. You know what I mean? Like institutions are built around guns, and stuff like like that. So I think. educating somebody about guns is a very hard thing to do because um, there's smart people on both sides of pro guns and anti pro guns. So that's a very hard thing to do because both sides are able to
Yeah, but
articulate their points well.
I see what you're saying, but then that means it just comes back down to you have to be able to objectively discern.
You have to, right? Things, but for that again, yeah, it comes down to the personal thing. It was like I don't, I, I, I think that uh, what I believe for guns, if I'm a gun owner, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna look at my own history
Mhm.
rather than
Yeah, but you
the
can
mass context.
change it to like food security then, bro. Change it to something less controversial. Then it's like, oh, we should really have less food in the grocery store for all y'all because in the end it's better to make it more affordable for all of us and
Yeah,
we really have an unsustainable structure set in
yeah,
place.
but capitalism.
But because then you're not going to be able to tell that rich person, you're
Yeah,
not gonna, there's no way you can even explain to them
yeah.
why you shouldn't have
In the
watermelons in
society,
wintertime.
this may sound controversial to coming from me, but in society, when you have a lot of free will, a lot of shit like that is harder to 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 do because it's all about me, right? What can I get out of this movement, right?
Yeah.
How does it fit me? So yeah, for your food security thing, it would only like a lot of rich people wouldn't hop on that. A lot of like
Yeah.
well off people wouldn't be able, and because nobody can relate too, right? And nobody wants to relate.
They have no need, they have no desire
Yeah,
to, and it doesn't
yeah.
influence them.
Nobody here wants to deal with the uncomfortable truth of what if, right? What if they couldn't afford that stuff? Because it's like, why you have all of this? So, like, yeah, like it means different things for a lot of people, but at the same time, that when it means different things, a lot of people won't do it because like for them it means nothing, right? They hold no value ov- over it. So things like that are going to be extremely hard to sort of like talk about
Because that's the grander ones.
on
Those are the things that you need to happen is like the disruption of entire chains. Otherwise, you're treating symptoms and not the root cause of issues.
yeah, but disruptions of entire chains are going to like ruin the flow of everything, and nobody.
But you see how we go full circle with our conversation and how the topics mean different things for different people? Ha! You see that?
I traveled 2 hours.
You see that?
Yeah.
We're smart.
Yeah. Well, you are not me.
But I cut you off because I agree with you overall,
You cut me off because you agree with me.
and I want you to continue.
No, that was my whole.
I figured you would have forgotten,
I
so
would have.
I figured you forgot.
I
Okay.
forgot my entire point.
Okay. So that means I agree with you ultimately though, is like this when I'm saying I agree with you is like because yeah, no, ultimately no one can really understand because
Yeah.
eventually it's just always going to be a matter of perspective because you either got to teach the rich people that they don't need their fucking oranges in wintertime or you need to uh change how society interacts with their diets as a whole and that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like like as I said, like you can't really show people because nobody can like I can't show you be like, hey Bailey, racism, and you're like, oh, that's a racism. What am I supposed to do with that, right? Because you can't truly. I mean,
Because that's what's happening with the Karens. That's what's happening with the
yeah,
Karens. The
yeah,
Karens, we're watching these big holidays. We're watching BLM, start watching Truth and Reconciliation in
big
Canada.
holidays.
You're going, that's a racism. This is Canada Day is a racism. And they're going, oh, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get
yeah. I feel like you have to be. That was a good Karen impersonation, by the way.
it. Thank you.
Um, like I feel like you have to be like already ingrained in that sort of like mindset already in order to have some sort of inkling of that if you're not part of that world,
Hmm.
because at that point you're going to be viewing it as um oh this is just another one of the one of our another one of those movements that happen,
Hmm.
like another one of those protests. So I think that like I think that like yeah, like nobody can truly relate to it. The best thing you can do is just sit your ass down and listen
and pray to the heavens.
and pray to God that they stop talking. Which is what I always do when Bailey starts going off on his like white guilt stuff. I'm just like, I don't. Why are you telling me things you feel bad about, man? I didn't do them.
What do I get out of this?
Yeah, I'm already brown.
I only value transactional relationships in my life because I live a Sigma lifestyle.
What? Don't ever do that voice. Whatever. But all in all, Bailey, can someone really understand, or is just being empathetic
That's the question we just
enough?
summarized.
I'm asking you it. I've been answering all the questions here.
I've been compounding on these questions excellently.
How about you have a single independent thought, my man?
This man starts the show yelling at me about not improving well and then gets mad when I develop his ideas well. You see how this works? You see this
So
unfair transactional
wait.
relationship?
Does that mean I'm the idea man and you're not because I had the
Yeah, I'm
idea?
the punch up writer. I'm
And
just here to milk you for creative
so
ideas.
it goes back to our Subway sandwich analogy.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, so that's you don't want to answer that question because you might quickly find out that I'm the sandwich maker,
Okay.
bitch.
Oh, so I was right.
But it depends because it's a one-way relationship.
Oh, in this one, okay. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
But
yeah.
generally speaking, I am right. Fuck
So,
him.
can anyone really understand? I think what scares me is my last point from the last topic that I think so many people have voices now that it will be hard to discern who is the appropriate person to listen to.
Yeah. What a good time to pick up a time to do a podcast, eh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Excellent timing. Saturated market and everything.
Yeah. Old age too.
So I worry that the empathy will begin to fade because again, Jonesy boy, right, is someone who's conscious of that line and rather than do something about it is going to gently stoke it because then if things do go left, then you benefit from it. So it's like I could be in charge of ensuring homeless people are fed in Toronto or unhoused people are fed in Toronto, right? Rather than solving the problem in order to keep my job, I'm just going to give out as many sandwiches as I can because then I get to keep my job versus going to like a grocery store and buying them out and teaching people how to cook.
Yeah, because all about I mean like the people prefer doing like showing that they care rather than like I feel like showing and doing are two different things. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, and that's ultimately I think because our society is so based on showing and it's so easy to compare about whether or not you're showing well, it's ultimately no one's going to
yeah,
understand.
yeah, because like here it's all about like how good can your charity be? Like we've gotten to the point where we're literally capitalizing charities.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
like, oh,
It's the nonprofit industry, Raza.
oh, sorry, whoops, sorry, nonprofit charities
But you
who
see what I mean? You got to add a buzzworthy term. It's
yeah,
not just about causes or organizations.
it's about the nonprofit now.
As a PR guy, that's what I was always like. I think it's specific and important you state causes and organizations and talking about the topic. 'Cause very quickly, nonprofit and nonprofit marketing and it's just another capitalist structure.
Yeah, that's what because like yeah, like I'm looking like all these charities literally get funded by not us by like bigger boys out there, and like that defeats the purpose of a charity because these charities are literally being like lobbied, you know.
Hmm.
So other places in the world you're not allowed to doing that, but for some reason it's easier to do it here. But yeah, just I think that's like one of as a really good example because like if you're just gonna be a lot of charities here in Canada do, in my opinion, do a lot of and you're gonna pounce on me, but like theatrics, right? Where
Yeah.
it's all like it's all like how it makes them look good. It's more like they're nice. It's more like their image, how it looks good on social media. Therefore, their shareholders. I found out, yeah, this guy's old NGO had shareholders, which is like,
Yeah,
wait, NGOs have shareholders? Well,
the stakeholders
or
they're called,
stakeholders?
but it's like yeah,
Isn't that
because
a shareholder then?
no,
Isn't a stake? Oh, you're being
because
sarcastic. Okay, never mind.
no, I am not being sarcastic.
Okay.
If they have stakeholders, the difference is like a stakeholder is just a fancy PR term for like your investors because then it's like
Yeah.
if someone gives me $40,000 a year,
Yeah.
they're not a lobbying group telling me what to say, but like, if I do something they don't agree with, they're not going to give
The
me
40,000 won't show up
$40,000.
next year. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So it is.
So it's they're not
There's.
shareholders,
Oh
but
yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
you know.
It's okay. Yeah. So they're not even. So what's the other word for lobbying?
Coercion with
Coercion.
donations,
Yeah, I
you know what I
guess.
mean?
Tax write offs there and shit. No, but like yeah, see like that because it's like what then like you're isolating a whole community of people or communities of people because you're just like listening to go work for a fucking uh, a a corporation then if you're gonna do it
Yeah.
that, that way. Uh,
Yeah, like you could take money from a real estate firm,
yeah,
but be supporting like low income housing developments
because
and
in their
ensuring
eyes
that
they can be like, oh, if we're gonna take this money, we can put it towards that, right? But they're like, no,
you're really just perpetuating that system.
yeah. So it's yeah, it's like a cycle, right? So, it's like I think that like yeah, if that's a good yeah because like if we do something here for for goodness, there has to be a bottom line, right? There
Mm-hmm.
has to be like the how can that company, how can that person, or how can that charity get that money back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that makes it sort of harder to do because then a lot of people on the opposite side can be like, look, they're taking money from this interest group or this interest group or this person.
Greed begets all,
Yeah, and like
And Greenpeace still takes money from mining groups.
which I discovered that like last year. I was like, that's not nice. You guys are on boats. You guys are like harassing boaters, and
They
here you
just
are.
talk about everything but
Yeah, the mining.
mining
Yeah, which
industry.
is so funny too. Yeah, I was just like, very sketchy. No, but you know, we take money from the anti-furry
Yeah,
uh
anti-furry lobby.
love lobby here, which we gladly take, by the way, since Bailey and I have no qualms.
Butt plugs are not allowed to have any longer than how much fur on it, Raza?
Why asking me this?
I thought these were the guidelines we established.
Oh,
Or why were we talking about tail? Don't tell them why we were talking about tail links then.
4 inches.
Okay. So this week, kids.
What was that?
So this week, kids.
Did he just cancel himself?
we got the tweet of the week. We got the tweet of the week. Raza's got it prepared. It's a lot less edgy than the other ones, but I like it. I like it. We got it here. I think we had a deep convo. I think so.
I want to piss myself.
You're welcome to. So we got it on Bailey's face on stream, but I also got it pulled up. If you're watching this,
It
on
reads
VOD,
out.
it's also on Spotify.
Also on Spotify and coming to it in Apple Music near you, and maybe a SoundCloud if we want to do it.
The doctor. Okay, you gonna read it?
The serial killers. I can't read. Serial killers saw these glasses and were like, "Yo!" So for audio only of listeners, if y'all have seen any serial killer glasses like Jeffrey Dahmer,
Bam.
in fact, I'll give you 30 seconds to Google Jeffrey Dahmer. While you do that, I'm gonna talk about how we're watching. There's way too many serial killer documentaries.
I agree. I think it's bad for
Way
society.
too many. We're getting too desensitized to it to the point where the next wave, because I was reading somewhere the next wave of serial killers are probably going to come around in 2030.
The wave of serial
The wave of
killers.
serial killers.
That's sus. I don't believe that.
Like
You think there's waves of them?
I don't know. I think there's like eras.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What era are we in?
we're in the precursor to the
What was the last era?
the Renaissance.
Because could you not call
Or
the people who do what they do in schools as of late? Because I'm sure I can't say that word.
well, no, because that's not
That
because
doesn't count. But isn't that many people?
but don't serial killers have? I see what you're saying. I see exactly what you're saying, and I know Wine Mom. If she was here, she would be able to tell us the difference here. I'm a cereal guy because I had those Cheerios pumpkin spice cereal.
Yeah.
That's pretty lit.
You gotta fix your diet and go with that magic spoon. But I hate that shit. It gets stuck
Fix
in my
my
teeth.
diet.
You ever had magic spoon? It's kind of cool, actually.
What's Magic Spoon?
You never heard of magic spoon? You
No.
clearly don't listen to enough. Oh, it actually speaks miles to you. It's good. That means that's good. All the liberal podcasts advertise it, but like the liberal you don't like the like Pod Save America liberal podcasts.
Oh, they're not that bad.
Oh, pretty bad.
Doesn't to Come Town?
They're very much toe the line, and let's figure out reasons why Biden is still good.
Oh, then they're neolibs.
Yeah, they're very neolib. But I digress. It's a cereal made from protein, like protein powder.
Already have
It's quite fucking
I
tasty.
already have checked out.
But so basically, Raza, for you dorks, you could eat the cereal, and it's a meal replacement. It's not just sugary cereal.
Dude,
it's a meal.
I like having lunch though. I love
And diabetes.
How do I have diabetes?
If you keep eating Honey Nut Cheerios every day.
I don't eat Honey Nut Cheerios every day. I do it for the TikTok.
Okay, I like it.
First of all, Honey Nut Cheerios is actually good.
I like Honey Nut Cheerios. Have you ever had the Harvest Crunch version?
Yes. They're all good. They're all fire.
They're not all good.
Change your diet, buddy.
Have you had the blueberry?
No.
Not that good.
Oh, isn't it?
Not that good.
See, I can't have sugary cereal anymore. It's not. I remember DMing you, telling you, I've sad news to report to you. Honeycomb cereal isn't as honey anymore. Yeah.
It's whack.
It's whack. So these kids are actually having less. Yo, in fact, I think we had more sugar in our cereals.
Yeah, they didn't care about killing us.
Yeah.
Or giving us ADD.
So now these kids are like, so even if I were to have a sugary cereal, it won't be anywhere near what I was having.
Yeah, when you get into the Reese's Puff cereal, it would get pretty bad.
Reese's Puff cereal is only good for
That's bomb.
It's great, but not like your staple cereal. That's how you get diabetes.
That is. That is. Okay.
And what's the jokes part? That's the cereal I had like this morning too.
This is very much a Let's Chat topic. Thank you everyone for coming through. We don't have Wine Mom, so I'm gonna have to do this in rapid fire fashion.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Marching into Madness.
I'm part of Marching into Madness too. So there's two of us here. Sometimes our friends stop by. Sometimes our friends stop by.
Let the mic go. Jesus Christ.
Sometimes our friends stop by. We're on Instagram, even though that platform sucks, and we're getting started on TikTok. Both at
that platform
Marching into
sucks.
Madness. You can also find us on YouTube, where we are gearing up to make video essays for y'all. We actually recorded one today, so shout out to the people who've been here long enough to see that we used to do that. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Getting ready. We're stoked. Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, if you are watching this on stream, we would very much appreciate if you go to Spotify and you hit like and download all of the shows in our library and leave us a review
and
telling us
$20
how pretty Roz's feet are. That's the review I want to see. If you are listening to this on Spotify, you can catch us on Twitch, where we stream this live on Mondays, and you can actually see this being recorded ahead of this version and hang out with us after and call us dum-dums. Shout out to all the friends. So, without any further rambling, I will let Raza scream a word before we go to our outro and transition to the Let's Chat session.
I like Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerios specifically.
Thank you again for watching us badly talk about these topics.
You can follow us on Twitch, Marching into Madness, all one word, no space. On the gram, marching_into_madness. And on Patreon at patreon.com/marchingintomadness. And again on Le Discord at Marching into Madness.
Join us, and Bailey will pay you 10 whole Canadian dollars.
You can follow Whitey over at gnarly_media on the Insta. You must definitely follow the life of our whole podcast, Wine Mom, at X Wine Mom X, because the year's 2002, and we still have the X in our names. And me, your favorite brown boy, at _r Malik _.
Thank you for the third time. We love you. Drink some milk and be healthy.
Remember, kids, say no to school and yes to.
It's like such bad advice. It's like, here we put this well-formulated podcast together with good insight on facts and truth and political points and social issues. Don't go to school, dude.
Oh, God.
Bailey listens to
Motherfucker
me.
shouldn't be near school after saying that.
It's like Bailey listens to me say the sentence and he goes, maybe I should say my sentence now.